In today's class, we will be doing hand to big toe pose. And with that pose, we'll be working on our balance, we'll be working on our spinal lengthening or our posture, as well as increasing the flexibility in our hamstrings. So let's get started laying flat on our backs. Finding a comfortable position, laying on your back, we're gonna do some straight leg kick-ups. So bending at the knees, pushing through the heels towards the ceiling, keeping it nice and dynamic. Every time the feet go up, you're bringing the toes toward the shins, heels toward the ceiling. You should really feel the stretch in through the hamstrings. A couple more here. Plant the feet, plant the hands firmly down at the sides, and we'll lift the hips for a bridge pose. Really try to engage the front side of the body. That's what's lifting our body up off of the floor. You can keep a light pressure in through the hands. Try not to over squeeze the glutes. One more breath here. And plant the sitting bones for just a second as we lift the right foot, straight leg, and then up into a bridge again. Hold this for 2 more breaths. Inhale and release. Last one. Put the sitting bones down, foot to the earth, and switch it out. Two more breaths. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Sitting bones down, foot down. Give yourself a squeeze and let's do a little bit of spinal rolling here. Give your back a little bit of a massage as you come up into a seated position. We're gonna do a seated tree. So bring that left leg out, right foot in, turn the shoulders, turn the upper body towards the foot, and then lead with the chest out towards your toes. Make sure those toes are nice and flexed, meaning that your foot is coming back towards you. And try not to round with the shoulders too much as we are leading with the heart. One more breath. All right, sitting up, we're going to find a sort of 90-90 degree with our feet, and we're gonna be doing some hip flexor sort of workout here as we come up onto our knees and set it back down. We're gonna do 5 on each side. So there's 1, 2, and then when you're all the way at the top, really try to thrust forward. 3, feel a squeeze in through the glutes. 4, last one, 5. Very good. Now seated tree on the right side, so right foot out, left foot in, turning the upper body towards the foot and leaning forward. Stopping when you are comfortable. Try not to overdo it here. We do want our hamstrings nice and flexible for this hand to big toe pose. We don't want to hurt ourselves getting there. So really listen to the body today as we do lots of stretching. I know hamstrings can be a pretty tight one for most people, especially when you've been kind of sitting down, maybe at a desk job or something all day. All right, and on your next inhale, let's rise up. Find that sort of 90 degree with each leg, and then let's do 5 more of those exercises. So coming up, 1, 2, 3, really trying to bring those hips forward at the top. 4, last one, 5. All right, very good. Now let's find a tabletop position. So wrists are directly below the shoulders, knees are directly below the hips. Let's go ahead and do 1 quick cat and cow. So pushing the floor away, round the spine, finding cow, biggest exhale in this pose. Before your next inhale, we will drop the belly, lead with the head, lift with the chin, inhaling for cow. Back to neutral spine, tabletop position. Let's push up into what looks like it's gonna be a down dog, but we're actually gonna just do a calf stretch. So you don't have to fully be back in a down dog position. We're not fully forward in a plank, somewhere in the middle. I'm gonna start with my right foot. So I'm gonna put it a little bit closer to the center of my mat, help with my balance. And then I might even bring that left leg up, sort of rest it on the right leg, give it a little bit more weight. Try to stretch that calf just a little bit further. And let's switch it out. Left foot goes down. If you're feeling up for it, bring that other foot up and rest it on the left. All right. Feet about hips distance apart, push back, downward facing dog. You might feel the need to walk out your first dog of the class. Sometimes those hamstrings are still feeling tight at this point. On your next inhale, let's look up towards our hands and step up to one. Inhale, halfway rise, flat back, and exhale, release. Inhale, push through the feet, hands up overhead. Mountain pose. Inhale, hands up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Nice flat spine. And exhale, plant the hands. And we're just gonna step the right foot back. For the Sun A, we're gonna be doing a half splits and a hip flexor rather than going all the way down to the floor. So if you've got those blocks, bring them on back. Let's start with our half splits. You might notice you need to bring that foot a little bit closer to the front of the mat, and that's okay. Find what's ever comfortable. If you notice that this is a little bit too easy with your blocks, just remember you can always lower them, make it a little bit more difficult. Just be sure we are keeping a tall spine, energy through the crown of the head, bringing those toes back. Very good, let's get rid of those blocks. Going in for a hip flexor, so coming up, really trying to relax, sink those hips down towards the mat. Hopefully with each exhale, you can feel them drop just a little bit closer. One more breath. Very good. Let's switch it out. We are going to put the left foot back, right foot forward. If you've got your blocks and want to use them for these half splits, go right ahead. Scooting that foot a little further forward, but bringing those toes on back. Last breath here. Now, if you've got your blocks, let's put them at the top of our mat for our next exercise where we might need to grab them. But step it on back into our hip flexor, planting that foot. And with this pose, making sure that your knee is over the ankle, not extending over the toes. Last breath. Very good. Let's plant the hands. Take the right foot back, tuck the toes, and push up into down dog. On the next inhale, look up towards your hands, and exhale, step up. Inhale, halfway rise, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, hands up overhead. And bring them down to your sides. If now is the time you need to grab a drink of water, feel free to do so. We will be going into a couple of sun salutation bees. So you're welcome to follow along with me in my vinyasa. Foot back. Or you can just push straight back into downward facing dog. All right, let's bring the hands up overhead and exhale, sit back into your chair. Once you've found your pose, you're nice and strong in through the thighs, through the quads, you've tucked the tailbone in, engaging the abs. We are going to shift our weight to the left foot and see if we can balance on that foot. Your right foot doesn't need to go very high, just as long as it's off the ground. And let's switch, planting the right foot, pushing through all four corners of that foot while lifting the left leg. Have you found that spot on the wall that's not moving yet? All right, plant it down. Inhale, tall spine, and exhale, let it go, forward fold. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into chaturanga and upward facing dog. Push back, downward facing dog. And inhale the right leg up. Exhale, step it on through, spin the left heel down, pushing up or rising up into warrior two. Let's check that knee, make sure it's not caving inward. It's tracking through the front foot. Relaxed our shoulders. Really sinking into this warrior two. Now, we will be going into triangle pose. So if you do need your blocks, feel free to grab them. Straighten that front foot. Come on down into triangle. So you're gonna feel a lot of that weight. It's gonna be pushing through the balls of your foot. Might feel a nice stretch in through the hamstring. Try to maybe even rotate the chest up just a little bit. Very good. Now let's lift, flip the front palm, reverse triangle. Make sure to keep that foot, that front leg nice and straight, maintaining our triangle. Now here, if you're still using your blocks, feel free to move that one out of the way and look at your blocks, because we're gonna push off with our back foot and find half moon. So opening up through the hips, we're stacking them right one on top of the other. Flex those back toes back towards your body, really pushing energy through the heel. Very good, and hands plant, get rid of those blocks. Push back into down dog. Now let's do everything again on the left side. So inhale the left foot up, and exhale, step on through, spin the right foot down, rising up into warrior two. Now checking your base, making sure that your foundation is set before continuing. Energy is through the heel, shoulders are relaxed. Let's straighten that leg, grab those blocks if you need them, finding triangle. One more breath here. Put my block back, reversing my triangle, flipping the palm. Now remember, these reverse poses are not back bends. Energy is through the crown of the head toward the ceiling, not the back of the room. Now let's look at where we're going with our half moon. kicking off, bringing that back leg up, energy through the heel. Find half moon. This pose is really gonna help us with our balance that we need for this hand to big toe pose. Very good. Let's set the hands down, get those blocks out of the way, and step back into our down dog. Inhale, look up. And exhale, step up. Inhale, halfway rise. And exhale, let it go. Inhale, hands up overhead. And release, mountain. We've got one more sun salutation B before we hit our peak pose for today's class. So inhale the hands up. Let's get right into it. And exhale, sit back in our chair. This time, instead of lifting the one leg, we're going to plant the heel forward. So I've got a straight right leg, left leg still bent. If you want, you could try to lift. Maybe do some baby lifts. And let's switch it out. Plant the right foot. The left leg is straight. And if you want, try to do some baby lifts. Plant the left foot, inhale. And exhale, let it go. Inhale halfway. And exhale, plant. Into a chaturanga, into an up dog. And then back into a downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Bring it on through, spin the back heel down, except this time keep the hips forward toward the front of the mat for warrior one. So that back heel is still down on the ground. We're just not open like we are in warrior two. Our hips are forward toward the front of the mat. Now here, we're gonna go into pyramid. So straighten that front leg, come on down. If you can touch the floor, that's great. This can be a really big hamstring stretch. So if you need, grab your blocks. If you also need, you can kind of bring that foot out a little bit further. Give your hips a little bit more width in this pose. Make it a little bit easier for you. We're not trying to be too easy. We're just trying to listen to our bodies. So bring those blocks down just a little bit. And remember to lead with the chest. We're not rounding at the shoulders, trying to come down to our foot. Very good. I'm gonna put my blocks back toward the top as we are gonna come into a warrior three. So push off with that back leg. If you need the blocks for some balance, maybe you can bring them down at your sides. Maybe you can bring them up overhead, wherever your hands are. Finding warrior three, finding a spot on your mat that's not moving. Now, dropping the hands, I'm gonna go into a splits. Maybe you can get your hands all the way down to the floor, but bring that back leg up. Energy is through the heel, keeping those back toes down. We're not trying to face them outward. Oh, very good. Hands down, get rid of those blocks. Right foot with the left, down dog. Everything again on the left, so bring the left foot up. Bring it on through. Back heel down, hips forward as we go into warrior one. Sink into this pose. Really try to feel the stretch in through the hips. And then straighten that front leg as we come forward into pyramid. Grab your blocks on the way down if you need them. And remember, you can always widen your stance, scoot that leg over just a little bit to the left if needed. One more breath. Very good. I'm gonna place my blocks here. We are coming into warrior 3. Push off. Energy through the heel, keeping those hips nice and level, or at least as level as we can get them without falling over. One more breath. Whew. Drop those hands and let's find our splits. See if we can get that foot up just a little bit further. Really feel the stretch in through the left hamstring. Awesome. Set it down. And downward facing dog. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step up. Inhale, halfway rise. And exhale, fold. Inhale, push through the feet, rise, hands up overhead. Mountain. Now we have finally come to the point where we're gonna do our peak pose, our hand to big toe. So things to remember, we want to have a nice tall spine, always trying to elongate through the crown of the head. And you also wanna make sure that if you're not feeling the full leg extension today, you can always keep your knee bent. There's nobody telling you that you have to keep your leg straight. So stand in the middle of my mat here for you. What we're gonna do is plant the left leg, bring the leg up, and then grab your big toe with your 2 fingers. See if you can find a spot on the wall, work on that balance, and then just maybe kick that leg out to the side. See, I'm trying to get my leg straight. Something tells me, ooh, it's not gonna get fully there, but I'm gonna try. But if you gotta keep your leg bent like this until you can get your hamstrings just a little bit more flexible, then do that. We're all at different stages of this pose. All right, once the right side, you've tried it out, wanna get onto the left side. Plant the right foot, find those 2 fingers, wrap them around your left toe. Remember that spine, nice and tall. Find your balance before kicking that leg out. If you need more balance, maybe do something with your right hand, bring it up, bring it out, whatever you need to do. Let it go. Great job, guys. We just worked on our hand to big toe. Hamstrings weren't necessarily happy about it, but we got it done. Now let's cool on down. So we're gonna come into pigeon, finding a plank. Bring your right leg forward. Does not need to be parallel with the front of the mat, wherever it's comfortable. Just set it on down. Now you can stay up and enjoy this stretch with your chest up and proud, or you can come on down to the forearms, rest the head, whatever you're needing today. Sink into this pose, but definitely don't sink out of the pose. So if you need, grab your block, stick it under your right sitting bone. Keep those hips nice and level. One more breath. Very good. Let's switch it out. So pushing up into a plank and switching it out, left leg forward. Make sure that back leg is in line with the hip. And add that block if you need it. Last breath. Awesome. Get those blocks out of the way. Find yourself on your sitting bones. Grab those knees and let's fall onto our back. Whoa. All right. Coming onto our left side, let's quad stretch. So grab that right foot. Be sure you're keeping your knee in line with the hip. Not spraying it outward, not bringing it too far back. It's not a back bend. Just a quad stretch. Let's switch it out onto the other side. Using your right forearm as a pillow, reach for the left leg. One more breath. Very good. Let it go. Find your way onto your back. Reach the palms up. Sink or melt into the mat after today's hard work, hard practice. Bring your awareness to the breath. Try to deepen those inhales and lengthen your exhales. Now stay here in Shavasana or corpse pose as long as you need. I'll take one more breath with you today before ending class. Inhale and exhale. Thanks for joining me today in our hand to big toe pose class. May your yoga practice continue to thrive.